Hello and welcome, my name's Chris, and this is going to be a short video series on how to take your camera and change your pictures from being good to being great. You know, one of the things a lot of us like to do when we get a camera is we like to flip it to auto, and in this series what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to take your camera out of auto and put it in full manual. That's right. So join me on this series if you will, and let's take your good pictures and let's make them great together. The first thing to think about when moving your camera from auto to manual, of course, you've got the big M on most cameras there on the top little dial. It says M, that means manual. You're going to move this camera into full manual. So this week, what we're going to talk about is shutter speed. When you look through your viewfinder or you look through your screen, you will find somewhere in there that if you move a dial, usually on the back of most cameras, most DSLRs, there will be a little wheel back here that will change your shutter speed. What the shutter release speed is the amount of time that this camera is going to look at what you're giving to it. Now imagine, if you will, if I go out in the sun, as a redhead I burn rather easily. If I go out in the sun for 4 hours with no sunscreen, I'm probably going to get a sunburn. If I go out in the sun for 30 seconds with no sunscreen, probably not going to get a sunburn. It's the amount of time that you spend exposed to something that makes a difference, and that's what we're talking about when we're talking about shutter speed. If you'll listen here, now this will be an average picture length. Okay, well that was actually 2 pictures. We'll take this and put it in single mode. But if you hear that, you hear how long it's not really staying open that long, right? If we slow that shutter speed down, you can hear that the time that it's spending is a little longer. And if I slow it down even more, it's going even longer. Now that is the amount of time that light is allowed to travel into the image sensor in the back of the camera. That is your first assignment for this week until next week's episode, is to go out, put your camera on manual, and vary your shutter speed in different places. And you might have to do it inside, you might have to do it outside, until you learn about some other things about your camera that we'll talk about in future episodes. But if you speed up and slow down that shutter speed, you will see the difference. Now, just like in everything else in the world, there's an exchange of speed versus time exposure. If you'll think of a Cadillac versus a Corvette, you know, Cadillac rides nice, but maybe doesn't perform as well in the corners. Now I'm talking older Cadillacs now, not newer Cadillacs. These newer Cadillacs are pretty awesome. But if you think of a comfortable ride versus a sporty ride, if you're riding in a sports car, you may not be as comfortable with the ride on a bumpy road as you would be in a luxury car. The exchange there is performance for comfort. That is the exchange that we have when we're talking about shutter release time. The longer you have that open, the longer you have to blur your picture or to have something move in the picture and change how it looks. Now you may like something moving in your picture, it just depends on the picture you're taking. But the faster you can make your shutter speed, the more crisp and precise the picture is going to be. I have a picture of my son riding a bicycle, and I cranked up all the settings. I'll explain this in future episodes. Cranked up all the settings so I could crank the shutter speed almost as fast as the camera would go, and he's riding his bike, but the spokes are perfectly still. It looks like he's just sitting there balanced on the bike. I slow the shutter speed down a little bit, the spokes have a little blur to it, and it looks like it's moving. So those are your exchanges. When you slow down your shutter release speed, yes, you're going to get more light, you may be able to capture more things in a dark situation, but you're also trading off the possibility that something's going to blur in that picture. Well, that's it for this episode. I hope that all makes sense. If you like this video, you hit the like button down below, you can hit subscribe up above, and I'll have future editions of these videos coming to you very soon over the next few weeks, so please subscribe and you can get your email update when those things hit. Hey, thanks for watching and take care.